Hello, beautiful souls. Namaste. We're going to do a one card pull. And then we'll just, I am being called to do just an intuitive channeling. The energy feels very calm. Very calm. I'm going to take my glasses off. I don't know why I don't like wearing my glasses when I do readings. Holy Spirit, we trust and believe that these messages are from Source and are of truth as we seek clarity, wisdom, and understanding in our situations. We are divinely protected now and always. We ask permission before tapping into anyone's energy. And I thank all the love teams that are going to gather to bring these messages. Oh, it feels good. Okay. I really love the way this deck shuffles. It's so smooth. For someone with texture things like me, I really like it. One message today. One message. One message, Holy Spirit. My eyes are being drawn to, I have these stickers that I keep in my car, and I put them on receipts and stuff, like when I go to the bank. I was being drawn to the rainbows. And how childlike all the stickers are. You see how childlike? Like, when I look at these stickers, it just brings a lot of joy. And it kind of brings me back a little bit to being a kid. Look at him. Just look at him. Look at him for a second. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. Just... Okay, I feel we're going to do the intuitive part before we do the card pull. And I had no idea where Spirit was going to go with this. I was told about an hour ago that I would be coming on doing this and doing an intuitive reading, or intuitive channeling. The message I'm getting, and I'm just trying to like get enough of it before I verbalize it, but it's regarding connecting to your inner child. You know, and I feel this is going to be different for everybody. You know, this is for me. Like, I saw this in the store, and I'm always on the lookout for stickers. Like, I love stickers. It's just a thing, okay? I saw this, and I think I got them at the dollar store, and I was just like, oh my God, those are so cute. And it just instantly brought joy and a smile to my face, and the colors and just the cuteness of it. And, it instantly connected me back into my inner child. And I feel like, you know, I don't know if it's partly societal programming, and I feel like this is probably across a lot of cultures that do this, not just where I'm at, but there's this like underlying understanding that once you become an adult, you have to become serious, and everything has to be about adult stuff, like paying bills and having responsibilities and going to work and doing all this stuff. And I think there is a little bit of a transition period from childhood / teenage to adult where you still get to enjoy a little bit of being a kid, and you're not quite as serious unless you're one of those people that just goes like straight to college, straight to graduating, straight to a job. But for, I think, in the majority of people, there is a little bit of a transition where you get to still enjoy more of that transition, and it's not so cut and dry. But I definitely feel there is a point where we just feel like almost bombarded with being an adult and everything that that entails. And in that process, we allow our inner child to kind of just die. We just resort to the idea that we're no longer a kid, so we don't get to enjoy kid things anymore. We don't get to enjoy that. We don't get to have that joy and that, joy is just the word that keeps coming to my mind, that we start to self-judge and even start to believe that other people will judge us if we try to continue to enjoy those things that brought us happiness and joy before when we were a child. Like, I'll give you an example, and I think it's amazing, is I've always loved coloring, just coloring books, right? With crayons or markers or colored pencils. And when I was a young adult, I loved to color, and people just thought that was weird. Why are you coloring? I don't know. I enjoy it. And then all of a sudden, it's a thing now. Adult coloring is a thing. And I think that's amazing because it's showing the progress we're making as a society, that we're saying, hey, you don't have to stop enjoying the things you enjoyed as a child just because you're an adult. The other example that Spirit's bringing to me is our wardrobe, right? The things that we wear. So many of us have convinced ourselves that once we become an adult, we have to be sensible. We have to look professional or be put together all the time. And yes, I think, and obviously in some circumstances, if you're in a professional job, there's going to be dress codes and things like that. But in your personal life, there's no one telling you you can't wear what you want to wear that makes you feel good. I have a very eclectic wardrobe. You can't say I have a particular, if my kids were to say I have a particular style, it would be jeans and t-shirt, because that never goes out of style. But as far as colors and styles, I wear what I feel good in, and it's eclectic. I have a little bit of everything in my wardrobe, and I wear what makes me feel good, what I feel confident in, what I feel excited in, when I look at it, it makes me smile. I wear that. And I think a lot of us have lost touch with that. Like, if you look at little kids and you see how they dress sometimes, like I am a very relaxed parent. I didn't used to be. When I first became a parent, I was very, like, I wanted my kids to match, and I wanted them to look put together all the time, because that's kind of what I believed we were supposed to do. But as I had more kids, I got a little more relaxed with it, and like let them have their own hairstyles and let them dress how they want. I mean, my kids have dressed crazy. I mean, sometimes they walk out the door and I'm like, I can't even right now. Like, you look ridiculous. But if it's what makes them feel good and they're confident and they feel good in it, who am I to squash that just because it's not my preference? We're not raising cookie cutter versions of ourselves. We're raising individuals. We need to allow our children to just be who they are. And yes, we can guide them, and we can have certain rules to protect them. Like, I'm not going to let my 7-year-old get a tattoo just because my 18-year-old got one and he thinks it's cool and wants to be like his big brother. There's boundaries. But he sees another kid with a mohawk and he's like, I want to do that. It's okay. It's just hair. It grows back. Or, I had one of my boys went through a phase where he wanted to dress like his sister. It was a very short phase. I didn't freak out about it. I didn't assume anything about his gender or anything. It was just, this was a long time ago, before all that was a thing. I was like, whatever. He wanted to party. He was very close with his sister, and he wanted to do what his sister was doing. Okay. He wanted to wear her dresses. I think it lasted like a week, and then he was over it. But he had fun. And it wasn't about he wanted to be a girl. He just wanted to do what his sister was doing because they were close. And they had fun. And it was short-lived, and he enjoyed his time with it, and then it was over. So I just feel like this is a message about, it's a kind of a dual message about allowing our children to just be children. The beautiful thing about children is they haven't been jaded by the world yet. They haven't been told or programmed to believe that there's no magic in the world. To them, the world is still magical. Color is a vibration. When I look at all these colors on here, I instantly get happy. because there's vibration in color. Ever wonder why you see kids that are always dressed in like all black and stuff like that? Those are the kids that tend to be a little more dark and sad, and they have a lot more going on. It's because color has vibration. They'll connect with color. Yeah, I just see a lot of smiling, happy vibes off of this, and it just reminds me of childhood, and it reminds me that when we become an adult, that doesn't mean we have to stop connecting with that inner child, whether it be playing games or like the famous one I always like to talk about because it's just so silly, but I know a lot of people do it. I like to ride the shopping cart in the parking lot. It's fun. It's fun. I like it. And I tend to park kind of far out usually, so it gets me to my car faster. It's fun. I get a lot of weird looks. Some people like it. Some people think it's weird. I don't care. I enjoy it. It connects me to a part of my childhood that brings me joy. And I really think that's what's missing for so many people. They're missing joy because they've disconnected from their inner child. Your inner child doesn't ever leave you. It is a part of who you are. Now, on the healing journey, many people have a wounded inner child. So as you go along your healing journey, you're going to do some inner child healing work where you're going to connect with your inner child and you're going to talk with them and you're going to work through some of the things that your inner child's been through. And that's going to be different and unique for every person. I know through my hypnosis, I'm on a temporary break from, but we've done a lot of the inner child healing work around food for me. And realizing where that all kind of started, where my unhealthy relationship with food kind of started was as a child with some things that happened to me with my family. So I had to go within and work on that healing. And now that inner child is with me and thankful that I did that healing work with her. So yeah, your inner child never leaves you. They're always there because I think your inner child is the closest to, your inner child is the closest you will ever get to spirit. Because when we're born, the veil just barely has come down. So we're the closest at death and at birth. Through those transitions, transition into the physical realm and transition out of the physical realm back into the spiritual realm is when we're closest to spirit. Because once you get further into the further into the physical realm that you get, you start to disconnect through, and it's no fault of your own. When you're a child, you're being programmed what to think, what to believe by your parents, by society, by the media. And eventually on your healing journey, you get to a point where you start to realize that isn't all necessarily your own beliefs, and you start to deprogram and reconnect with your truth. But the inner child, that part of you never leaves. And I think for us to find joy in adulthood, one of the tricks is to connect back into that inner child. Now, I'm hearing Spirit say some people have had a really, really hard childhood. And for them, it might be hard to connect back into any kind of time of happiness within that childhood. I don't have an easy answer for that. That's the healing journey. That's the part of the healing journey. You might have to work on a lot of forgiveness and then kind of recreate a healthy childhood for yourself as an adult. Meaning, once you heal that inner child, allow that inner child to experience joy through who you are now. So you're recreating that for yourself. Because we can't change the past, but we can learn and we can forgive. Yeah, whoever that was that just tuned in, Spirit's just saying go with it because the energy just got really heavy. So I'm just going to flow with it for a second. So if this part of the message is not resonating for you, you can either click off or just be patient or fast forward, because I feel like I'm connecting with someone right now. And it may not be that your entire childhood was bad, but it might be that when I started talking about this, it triggered some painful memories from your childhood. Let me just connect with that for a minute, because I feel Spirit wants me to connect with you on this for a second. I need some water. Okay. The energy just got really nervous because my hands are like shaking all of a sudden. And I kind of have like, my leg is a little shaky. I was trying to tune into the chakras to see where I might be feeling it, but all of a sudden I feel numb. Like overwhelming sadness, but numbness at the same time. Almost like, now I'm feeling it. Sacral, in between the sacral and the solar plexus is where I'm feeling this. So what it feels like is something happened. I'm going to say what I'm intuitively feeling is abuse, and because of where I'm feeling it, probably sexual abuse. I feel this might be something you've never told someone, because I started feeling choked up in my throat, which is the throat chakra. And with the numbness, it's like there's this pain and sadness wanting to come through, but there's like a conscious effort to suppress it and ignore it, which is where the numbness is coming in. I feel like you want to, you have a desire to heal this. You have like, I'm sorry, the energy is really heavy right now. It's like you have a desire to let this go. You don't want to hold on to it anymore. But it's almost like you don't know how to let it go. And there's a part of you that's scared, because I feel like you've carried this with you for so long that you don't, there's this, I don't know, it's like a fear of what it will be like to not have it be a part of you anymore. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you what to do in this situation. I can tell you that I've been through similar, and I can tell you what worked for me. And then you can take that information and you can pray about it, okay? Or you can go into meditation and see if it helps you. I went through a lot of sexually related trauma as a child and young woman. And I carried it with me for a very long time. And what helped me on the healing journey, okay, you may or may not be ready to hear this, okay, was when we connect into Christ, okay, you don't have to be a Christian to understand this, but Christ consciousness is the understanding that we are all divine beings experiencing life in a human body that's flawed. Okay, our body is flawed, our mind is flawed, but we still have a connection to the divine, and that connection is love. Okay, and so what Jesus understood, okay, is that because we are inherently flawed as humans, we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes they're going to be little mistakes. Sometimes they're going to be big mistakes. And a lot of that is going to be based on what we've experienced in our humanness. So it's pretty common knowledge that people who abuse others, most of the time they were abused in some way, shape, or form. We're not even getting into the spiritual aspect of all this, okay? Because that would be a whole nother level. Whoever hurt you, they were most likely hurting. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it gives you an understanding that when people are hurt, that creates a separation for them in their spirit from love. And when you feel separated from that, your mindset and the way you think and the way you speak and the way you move in the world is going to be out of alignment with love. Meaning, you're going to think, say, and do things that are not good, that are not healthy, that are toxic, that are dangerous, because you're out of alignment, because you're not healed. So, these people that go around hurting other people, they're deeply wounded. And so they make decisions through that filter of being angry, hurt, and they project that onto other people. It doesn't make it okay. Okay? I'm not excusing the behavior. I'm giving you an understanding of why it happens. And when you understand this, when you can understand that what they did to you was not about you, but it was about them, it can help you in the forgiving process. The other part of the forgiving process is understanding the concept of karma. It's not karma is a bitch. It can be a bitch, depending on the level of what you're putting out into the world. But the point of karma is to understand when people make decisions, there are consequences. If you are making good decisions, then the consequences that will come back to you will be positive. If you are making bad decisions, the consequences will be negative. And the point of it, the point of karma, is everyone deserves to learn, grow, heal, and evolve. So if you were someone that was making bad decisions, not you, but I'm referring to the people that hurt you. If you were someone who was making bad decisions, then you probably got some karma back. Now you, as the person that was the victim, you may not know what that karma was for that person. It may not show up in a way that you feel vindicated. But the one thing I am positive of, at least with my belief system, is that nothing goes unnoticed. Okay? When someone hurts you, knowingly hurts you, that the universe, God, spirit, source, they're going to take care of that in some way, shape, or form. And it is on that person to take that and either learn from it and grow from it or repeat those cycles. It is not your problem. When you forgive, you're not forgiving the behavior. You're not even necessarily forgiving the person. All you're doing is coming to a point of understanding so that you don't have to hold on to that energy anymore. Because when we hold on to anger and resentment, that affects us. You're not hurting that person anymore. You could have had something bad happen to you 20 years ago, and it's still hurting you, not because that person is still hurting you, but because you're holding on to what happened. And the only person that's hurting is you. And this is a really hard part of the healing process, I think, that people kind of struggle with, is there sometimes is a part of us that wants to hold on to that victimhood. We want to feel vindicated. Well, I'm here to vindicate you. Whatever happened to you was not your fault. It was not okay. You didn't deserve it. But it's time for you to love yourself and put your healing first. And the way you can do that is by choosing to release the fact that you were a victim and now you're a victor. And what makes you a victor is the fact that you are choosing to heal, you're choosing to forgive, you're choosing to release and move on. And when you are able to do this, and only this is between you and spirit, when you're able to do this, what happens is the energy that you had been holding on to, that was anger and resentment and fear or whatever else was associated with it, that energy through that forgiveness and that compassion and that understanding transmutes and changes. You alchemize that energy and it allows you to release it away from you back into the ethers, okay? So that you're no longer carrying that. It's not that you'll lose the memories of what happened, but you won't have those feelings anymore. You won't have that heavy energy feeling with it when you recall the memory. When I think about the things that happened to me, I don't forget what happened to me. I just don't get those feelings anymore because I've already released that energy. I trust and believe that the people that have hurt me have gone through their own karma, and it's up to them whether they choose to heal and grow from it. And what I mean by that, let me explain what I mean by that. I've done some not great things in my life because I was a wounded person. I made bad decisions and I got karma. And when I finally realized what was happening and Spirit opened my eyes and my third eye to the truth about karma and what was happening to me, I chose to heal and take accountability and make amends and grow and evolve. I transmuted that energy. I learned the lesson. I moved forward. But that was a choice because I was ready to make that choice. Some people, you may forgive someone and they're not going to learn the lesson and they're going to go and hurt someone else. They're never going to hurt you again because you've learned and you have healthy, strong boundaries now, right? Okay. That person may not learn their lesson yet. It may take them a few more karmic cycles before they're finally ready in their own spirit to take accountability and learn from their mistakes. That is not your problem. That is theirs. Let the universe work through that person because that is their journey, not yours. Your only responsibility is where you are at on your healing journey and where you are at in your healing process. Okay. Let's pull one card, Holy Spirit. I kind of jumped. Chariot? Yeah, we'll take that. So this is the number 7. 7 is a great divine number. I'm being told if this message is resonating for you to look up the number 7. We are moving on from that personal message that was for that one person. I might have to timestamp this for people watching. The Chariot is about forward movement, success. But what's interesting on this particular Chariot is this cat is maimed. It's handicapped, right? So it's got something to help it move forward. As humans, we're flawed. Our divine self knows that. That's why we can lean into trusting our own intuition, because our intuition is our connection to the divine. The divine already knows every possible outcome because we're not just on one timeline. We shift constantly between timelines, between realities, based on our consciousness, based on our choices. But our connection to the divine, our intuition, our higher self, our divine self, knows this. It's our human self that struggles. So when we can get into divine alignment with our intuition and with God, with Source, we can experience this forward movement. Even though we're always going to be kind of handicapped, if you will, as human beings, because we have ego, and even the most enlightened people still slip up because we have ego. We are in our human form when we're here on the earth. That doesn't mean we can't continue moving forward. I kind of look at this, what do these contraptions do? If this cat was handicapped and it didn't have this contraption, it would have a hell of a time making forward movement. Maybe its legs don't work properly, and so it would have to drag its legs. It would still try to move forward. It would be a lot harder. So the divine comes in and helps us. And what is our help? Our help, while we're in human form, is our intuition, our connection to the divine. We just have to learn how to trust that. We have to learn how to trust our connection to God. Because sometimes when we pray and go into meditation, sometimes the answers we get, we don't want to believe. We don't want to follow because we have a battle with our ego about it. We might be hearing something that goes against what we want in the flesh. And so we ignore it. And then we try to go forward, and then there's obstacles, and it's a rough road, and it's because Spirit was saying, hey, if you listen to me, you're going to have a better outcome. But we don't always listen. Some of us will see signs, right? The universe will put signs in front of us, and we'll ignore them. I feel like your message is there, because I'm seeing the Seven of Pentacles, which is, it talks about planting the seeds, I'm hearing making the soil fertile for growth. I feel like you might be in a season of your life where there's been a lot of planting of seeds. I'm hearing faith of a mustard seed. And you're transitioning into a time of making forward movement. I'm hearing this could be on a project. Spirit's showing me the image of a family, so it might be someone tuning in might be wanting to get married and have kids, or be thinking about that, making that move. I'm seeing an image of someone moving across seas, so this could be like a big move, so someone might be considering living in another country. I'm seeing this could be talking about someone moving forward after the loss of somebody important to them. Ooh, yeah, I felt that in my pit of my stomach when I said that. Whew, that one hit heavy, sorry. I felt that like a punch in the gut. So someone might have lost someone very unexpectedly. There was like no warning. Might have been a car accident, because I just felt led to look in my rearview mirror and there's a car there. Sorry. Sometimes these energies hit and it's just like, anyways. I just heard, I heard you're going to be okay. And then that song, every little thing is going to be all right. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is going to be all right. That's where faith comes in. That's that connection to your intuition. Trusting that whatever direction you're being pulled towards, I am hearing the caveat is discernment. sometimes we can be pulled in a lot of different directions, and we can have a hard time discerning which direction to go. That's why your connection to your intuition and to the divine is so important. The example they're giving me, they're showing me like a fork in the road, and like one path might seem more abundant financially, but you might also be pulled in another direction that on the surface seems like it's not going to be as abundant, but for some reason there's something more fulfilling that you are being pulled towards. That could be like a passion project, or I'm hearing look up your life path number, because it could be something you're being drawn to that's going to end up being a part of a very important part of your life path of like what you came here to do, but it doesn't seem, because I keep hearing, like, I keep seeing pentacles and hearing abundance. So there is this like pull between what's going to be more financially, like make more sense financially, as opposed to this other path that you're being drawn towards. I can't tell you which direction to go. That's not my job. What I keep hearing Spirit say is this is why you need to have a strong connection with your intuition and to the divine, and to pray and to meditate, because a lot of times we're being pulled in a lot of different directions, and we get confused as to which way to go, and we get worried about making the wrong decision. Here's the truth. You can't make a wrong decision. You can only make a decision. And then if that decision doesn't work out, then you always have the choice, the free will choice, to go back onto another path. Okay. So you can't really make wrong decisions. You can make a decision that doesn't work out as great, and then you have the power and the ability to change that again. Okay. So don't let fear keep you in a stranglehold from making forward movement. Okay. Allow the divine to help you, because I feel like some of you might feel like you're stuck, and you want to make forward movement and you're not sure which way to go. Let the divine come in and assist you. I'm hearing you can ask for God to, give you some definitive signs to help you. And usually that will come in the form of people, places, or things. Like when you, my solar plexus. This could be like a really major life decision that you're facing, because I keep feeling it in my solar plexus. Like it's this tightening of like, this might be a major decision. And so you're really kind of like, I don't know which way to go. Okay. Again, I can't tell you which way to go. I can just tell you that the divine is saying they want you. Thank you, Spirit. They want you to connect to them. I'm seeing the image of like, pick up the phone and dial us. We want to help you move forward, but you've got to be willing to pick up the phone, and then you have to be willing to listen. It's not enough to just dial. That's praying. Okay. You got to actually listen, which is the meditation, because the meditation is where you clear your mind, so your ego is not, and you listen to what the divine has to tell you, so that you can finally have some peace of mind about which way to go. And take the fear out of it. Even if you go this way and would have been better, then you have the power to change that. You have the power, because it's your life, to say, you know what? This wasn't the best choice. So I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to go this way. And I'm not saying that's always easy. Okay. Especially when life gets involved. What I'm saying is you absolutely have the power to do it, should you choose. But I always encourage people to make sure you are praying and meditating and connecting with that source, whoever that is you believe in, whatever your faith is, so that you can be in alignment and have a peace within you about the decisions you are making. Because when you're in alignment with your path, you will experience a peace about your decisions. When you're not in alignment, that is when we feel unrest, uneasiness, and confusion and things like that, if that makes sense. Okay. So I feel that was the message. It was a long one. It was a heavy one. But again, whoever needed to hear it, heard it, I'm sure, because I trust that the divine brings me to give these messages for a purpose. Again, I hope it helped whoever heard it. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to be here with me today, as always. And I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Namaste, and I love you all.